Small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankin. It's going to be a fun one. Today we're talking about the Coen Brothers movies. And yeah, we've got a great panel here. Over here we've got Steve. Steve, how's it going?
It's going very good. I did a couple of, I've seen all of them except for one movie. And I have also actually had referred to this as the Coen Brothers Bible, which is a very big book of the Coen Brothers. So I had referred to this, like how thick it is, in terms of like reading the messaging and the stuff that goes into the movie. So like not only did I watch the movie, I've also like read into like what the messages is that I probably went over my head. But I'm ready to start ranking some Coen Brothers movies and start talking about it with some fine gentlemen here on this panel.
Also here we've got Dan. Dan, how's it going?
Yeah, off air we talked about how we did Josh Brolin a couple weeks ago. Now we're doing the Coen Brothers, so it's kind of like just full circle deal here. But I'm a massive fan of the Coen Brothers, going way back to the 1980s. Watching my first one, so I can't wait to see what people have to say about these.
And last but not least, we got Wolf. Wolf, how's it going?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm a massive Coen Brothers fan. Got a lot of their films on physical media. They are, to me, the single greatest writing and directing duo ever to exist. When it comes to just like a actual duo, I'm not saying if you're looking at like single directors, I'm not saying they're better than Scorsese or like Tarantino or people like that. But like when it comes to like an actual duo, they are probably the best when they're working together for sure. And a lot of their films are like some of my favorite films. So I'm excited to talk about them tonight.
Yeah, and also just so like we are including stuff that they have directed solo, like anything Joe did on his own, which I think is just the one, and anything Ethan did on his own as well.
So what's interesting is actually Joel, like the films that they did together, they wrote pretty much all of them together. But like the films that we know of, like Fargo was only directed by Joel, and like Big Lebowski was only directed by Joel, and stuff like that. It's like kind of interesting. So yeah.
No, I mean it's one of those ones. Like I get that, but yeah, I just wanted to give that clarification for people watching, just in case that yellow pass, including stuff that they didn't really get. Anyway, but with that being said, how Rankin works is they each go around and nominate a movie that belongs on a top 12 list, and then everyone else say yes or no to it, and then at the end of we rank it, because it's only a 4-person panel. It's going to come down to the other 3 people if it makes the short list of 12. But Steve, we're going to go to you first. What was the first movie you're going to bring up?
I'm going to get the big fish out of the way, and I'm not talking about Tim Burton here or Albert Finney. I'm going to get No Country for Old Men. This is, I think they have 4 masterpieces. This is by far the top film that they ever done. I've actually read the novel by Cormac McCarthy before, as they were putting this film together, and they managed to get some iconic shots from the novel to incorporate into the movie, like Anton Sugar showdown at the hotel, or we have Josh Brolin just having him go back to the crime scene, between going back to his trailer and just feeling regret and coming back to get some water for a poor gentleman. And it has a great cast. Josh Brolin, as I mentioned, an amazing turn by Javier Bardem. We also have Tommy Lee Jones, Woody Harrelson, Stephen Root, Kelly MacDonald, and there's a couple of key people that are minor characters, but they're like the supporting cast that are pretty well. They're great too. I mean, sound that you wouldn't think for what it is, I mean, it's not original for what it was, but for an adaptation work, they really adapted Cormac McCarthy to a T, especially the dark tones that come with it. And yeah, I believe No Country for Old Men, if not on the top of the list, should be on this list.
Dan, what do you say about No Country for Old Men?
Ironically enough, that's what we brought up, or I think it was me that brought up No Country for Old Men on the Josh Brolin episode a couple of weeks ago. So it was a no-brainer for me. I knew somebody was going to bring it up, but I absolutely love that movie. I rewatched it a couple of weeks ago just for that episode with Josh Brolin, and I think it's a masterpiece, like you said, Steve. I'm not going to reiterate everything you said though. So yes.
Wolf, what do you say about No Country for Old Men?
Yeah, this absolutely was a masterpiece, and I just gotta say, like, what a damn good year at the Oscars that year. Because when you get people complaining that like There Will Be Blood didn't win Best Picture that year, yet the victor was this, then you know that was a good year, because it's like those two were neck and neck, and phenomenal, and Javier Bardem deserved his win for sure. He was terrifying in this. This was a film that when I first watched it, I went through a phase of trying to like starting off just watching movies. And this was like back in like late middle school or like early high school. I was like just really watching movies. And I didn't get it at first. I was like, this is stupid. Why is the villain winning? I don't like this. Like, this is not how movies are supposed to be. I would rewatch it years later, and I just loved it on that rewatch. Once I actually see how it was, once I fully got it and what it was meant to be, I really loved it. So, yeah, when you're doing a top 12 Coen Brothers, this easily has to be on that list. I agree that they've done like 4 masterpieces or 5. To me, maybe 5 because of one I just recently watched. But yeah, this is at least definitely 4 at least, and this is in the top 4 for sure. So yeah.
Yeah. So this is one of the real interesting movies. Like, I've kind of grown a more appreciation for the Coen Brothers recently. And like for me personally, No Country for Old Men is just outside my personal top 12. But I'm still going to say I'm still going to say yes to it. But it's not so much a slight on the movie itself. I do think the movie is great. I just like 12 other Coen Brothers movies more. So but yeah. So I'm still going to say yes to it because it's still in the area where I'm still. There's not really a Coen Brothers movie I don't like. But that it's going to make the list, and then we go back to you. We go to you for your next nomination.
Yeah, my favorite of the Coen Brothers is a movie from 1996 or 1997. I'm bad with years, so if I get the year wrong, let me know. Fargo. I absolutely love Fargo. I just think it's just got that just small town kind of just nuance kind of. They just get the small town feel of their characters. Margie. Hey, Margie, and the sheriff with she's pregnant and stuff, and John Carroll Lynch is the husband, and then the wood chipper and Steve Buscemi and all that. I mean, it's just, and Phillips, I'm not Phillips. God, what's his face with the true coat? Want to get the true coat?
William H. Macy.
William H. Macy. William H. Macy. I love, and it's like the Winter is like a character in the movie. It's just such an amazing movie, and I can't believe that should have won Best Picture. That Fargo should have won Best Picture. I think that movie was robbed for Best Picture, in my opinion. But yeah, Fargo.
Yeah.
Wolf, what do you say about Fargo?
Yeah, Fargo. That's the film that everyone goes to when they talk about the Coen Brothers. My personal favorite. I have something else as my personal favorite, but I think when it comes to like their actual best film that they've done, probably Fargo, it is like their best film. Like, this is just, it's so superbly directed, so superbly well written. You are just invested in these characters. Frances McDormand is fantastic in this, as always, and this is something interesting where the movie is a masterpiece, and the show that's also based on the movie is really great too. So
Four
it's
of the
like
seasons are amazing.
yeah, four out of the 5 seasons are absolutely incredible. Like
Yeah.
like damn near masterpieces for
Yeah.
4 out of the 5 seasons. They're really, really good. So so regardless, both Fargo projects we've had are exceptional, and I just think that this is the one that will stand the test of time, and I think the Academy is probably kicking themselves for not giving this Best Picture. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love Fargo. I think Fargo is fantastic. It's an easiest for me. And yeah. Steve, what do you say about Fargo?
I mean, I definitely I agree with everybody on this panel. Fargo definitely should be on here. Especially Wolfman talking about the TV show. Hell, and I believe season 1, episode 4. I looked it up. We find out what happened to the money. It's a direct link to the TV show, to the movie. You got to find out actually who finds the money. You actually find out who finds the money. But aside from that, you got the small town group. You got the geez. Like every time I go to Minneapolis, I always post gifs of Fargo. Just because like every day I'm in Minneapolis, I post one gif of Fargo, no matter what it is, just because I always associate Minneapolis with the movie, even though it's Fargo, it's North Dakota, but that's a horse of a different color there. But yes. Great script, great direction, great casting. Buscemi at his best, at his most sleaziest, in my opinion. And yes, Fargo definitely belongs here.
That Fargo is going to make the list. Wolf, what is your first nomination?
So I'm gonna mention one that I just saw because I don't want it to get like forgotten about and us not mention it, because there's going to be some other ones I know we're going to mention here very soon. But one I just saw for this, it feels kind of fitting to jump on this right after Fargo, because Fargo is a small town movie, kind of movie about a man who's trying to put a hit out on his wife, basically, and that's kind of also, there's some style similarities and all that to that in Blood Simple. So Blood Simple is going to be one of the ones I mentioned for the top 12, and I thought that this was exceptional. It was the first time watching me, but I thought it was exceptional. The cinematography is beautiful. The score from Carter Burwell is just on another level, and I love film noir. That's one thing about me. That's like, I just absolutely love film noir, and I thought that this was a great noir from the Coen brothers, and you can definitely see where their style is in this film, because it's bleak and it's dark, the subject matter and everything. Like, it is very dark. It's very dark, but it also has some hilarious moments that made me just like laugh out loud, like a darkly comedic moments, like whenever he's like trying to start up the car again and it's like stuck right there in the middle of the field where he's trying to bury the guy. Like that to me was really funny, and there's a few other funny bits in there too. And so you see like the style that would continue throughout their career. So yeah, I think it's great. Blood Simple is the one I'm advocating for.
Yeah, I also watched Blood Simple for this. I do like it. I think it is good, but for me, it's just one of those ones that just didn't resonate with me too much. Like, I just thought it just felt a little bit slow, self-paced for me. Like, and I do like it. I do like the story. But yeah, it's going to be a slight no for me. Steve, what do you say about Blood Simple?
As much as I agree with everything that you say, Wolfman, I have to also agree with Malcolm in terms that the pacing of the movie is a little bit slow, despite how I believe it's the movie's like an hour and 38 minutes. It still feels like there's a slow pace to it. Sometimes you can get lost, even if it's a simple story, even if it's Blood Simple and it's a story simple. Sometimes it gets a little convoluted in terms of who's double crossing who's doing what. So while I do like this movie, I'm also going to give this a slight no.
Dan, what would you have said about Blood Simple?
Yeah, Wolf, I had this on my list. I was gonna definitely say yes to Blood Simple. I really enjoy it. I saw it a few years ago for the first time. Like I said, I got the Criterion, and I really enjoyed it. You could see the Coen brothers really starting to come into form as directors with Blood Simple and the kinds of things that they wanted to deal with in their careers. So I really like Blood Simple quite a bit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Blood Simple's not going to make this list. And it comes down to me. I'm going to try for this. I don't know how this is going to go because I know this movie. It's kind of people either like it or they hate it. But I'm going for the Intolerable Cruelty because with George Clooney in there, and this is one of those movies that I really enjoyed. I think it's just a fun movie, and I remember really liking it a lot when I first saw it. And yeah, I think it's good, and I think it deserves to be here. Steve, what do you say about Intolerable Cruelty?
I'm sorry, Malcolm, but I honestly think that Intolerable Cruelty is probably the worst film that the Coen brothers ever done. Now, I'm not saying it's the worst movie ever done. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying out of everything that they've done, I believe this is the weakest link in their filmography. Now, to be fair, I've only seen it 1.5 times. You wonder when that half came from? Well, that half came from me checking in the movie theaters, seeing if there's anybody in the theaters watching it, and then guess what? Nobody was watching it in the theaters when I woke to work again. So you wonder how that movie with that not that much money. But yeah, this is easily for me the worst, quote worst of the bunch of their whole film. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say a very hard no on this one.
Dan, what do you say about Intolerable Cruelty?
Yeah, Malcolm, unfortunately, I'm with Steve on this one. I'm not a fan of this. I mean, you have George Clooney and Catherine Zeta-Jones. You think it would be better than it was, and it didn't turn out to be very good at all, in my opinion. But so I have to agree with Steve and say no.
And Wolf, what would you have said about Intolerable Cruelty?
And I'm also going to have to agree with Dan and Steve here, unfortunately, because to be fair, this has not had the No Country for Old Men treatment. I watched this one in high school, so I have not rewatched this one since then. So who knows? Maybe if I rewatched it as an adult, maybe I would actually think it's really good. But I haven't. I was trying to mostly focus on like first time watches for this, and so I didn't get a chance to rewatch it. So unfortunately, I was not a fan of it. It's not the worst Coen Brothers film for me. I still think Honey Don't was worse, but Intolerable Cruelty is maybe like second worst for me. So yeah, I'm gonna go no for that one.
You didn't need to say that, Wolf. You didn't need to say that.
But with that, Intolerable Cruelty is not going to make the list. Steve, we go back to you.
I'm gonna go for this one. It's not a star. It's a movie that doesn't feature a lot of stars, but like if I say familiar names like Richard Kind, Michael Stahlberg, I'm saying A Serious Man. This movie doesn't use the cast to propose story. It uses the story to propel the cast, if you know what I mean. Honestly, this kind of movie actually got a lot of people started. Richard Kind get back into the swing of things. We have Marcus Stahlberg do supporting roles in Shirley, and he had a role in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's a really cool movie that associate the very biblical themes in the 1960s, and it's a shot of what's of a professor's life in crisis as he finds out that he's not getting tenured and he might be having a health crisis and his son is getting in trouble and he's just facing a crisis and he just doesn't know what to do. He feels like he's in a rut. And for a person, that embodies anxiety, I see Michael Stahlberg is the perfect embodiment of anxiety, and he does that capability. And I also enjoyed the opening sequence, which was shot by 4x3, and it deals with an old Jewish couple, old Yiddish couple that's dealing with a debek or a debek in the form of a a possibly deceased rabbi, which sets up potential plagues or curse on that family or on that bloodline. So I'm going to vote for to have on this list a serious man.
Dan, what do you say about a serious man?
Yeah, I saw. Was it 2000? Was it the 2008? Was it the year after No Country for Old Men? Was a serious man? I remember seeing 9.
2 years. Yeah.
2 years. 2 years after. Okay, yeah. I remember seeing this back then, and I didn't get it as much as I do now. I saw it not that long ago. Again, I rewatched it because I always, everybody was always talking about a serious man, and I rewatched it and I realized what I was getting wrong in my head about the movie, and how much Michael Stuhlbarg was incredible in this movie. It really put him on the map. He's doing stuff in like Dope Sick, and he's got a movie coming up in the next month or so with Luca Guadagnino. And he's really a great character actor, and he's done a lot of different types of roles. But this is the role that really broke him out as a category. And it really got the Jewish faith and the Jewish community right. Years later, when I saw a lot more movies about the Jewish community and the Jewish faith and stuff, I realized, wow, this movie really got that faith and that world correct. So I really, really have come around to a serious man. So it's a big yes for me.
Wolf, what do you say about a serious man?
I named myself on the stream tonight after this movie, so yeah, I definitely am going to say yes to A Serious Man. I think that this is just a brilliant movie by the Coen brothers with an amazing performance from Michael Stuhlbarg, Richard Kind, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the whole cast is incredible here. The script is fantastic, and I agree. I think it is a really good showcase for the Jewish community as well. So I'm definitely going to say yes to A Serious Man. It's been a while since I've seen it, but if I would have had another chance to see it again, I definitely would see this one. But yeah, I really loved it. So yes for me.
If I had more time, I would have tried to rewatch some of these because a lot of these I've been watched since I've seen them. But like Wolfman was doing, I was focusing on first time watches as well. But I do like A Serious Man. I think it is really good. It doesn't really resonate with me much because I just thought it was okay the first time I saw it. But it's still in the realm where I'm happy saying yes to it, so I'm still going to say yes to A Serious Man. So A Serious Man is going to make the list. Dan, we go back to you.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my first experience with the Coen brothers was a movie that reminded me of my family a lot. My family, I had 2 brothers and a sister and a mom and dad, and we were kind of always struggling and always having a hard time moving from place to place. We didn't know where, our next meal was going to come from or whatever. We had cars would break down, this, that, and the other. It just reminded me, this movie really reminded me of my own upbringing a little bit. And that's called Raising Arizona. And Nicolas Cage is absolutely phenomenal in this movie. If you want to see Nicolas Cage do comedy, he is incredible in this movie, Raising Arizona. And I think you started to see in these early movies where the Coen brothers were going to go in their career. They really had a lot of talent, and I just absolutely love Raising Arizona. It's one of my favorites to this day.
Yeah, Raising Arizona, I thought was a actually no Wolf. What did you say?
Yeah, I was going to say. Oh, so, yeah.
I was like, is there something wrong with Wolf's thing?
But so yeah, Raising Arizona, I think it's excellent. I actually have the script over there because I have this like booklet that comes with several scripts of the Coen brothers, and yeah, it's an exception. It's really great to come off of Blood Simple with this is like a wild kind of change. You do a film noir that's like more dark and serious with maybe a couple comedic elements here and there, and then you just do a complete like slapstick, like silly kind of movie. It's like, whoa, this is like vastly different, but it's great, and I love Nicolas Cage in this, and John Goodman is excellent in this too. It's so quotable. Son, is that a panty on your head? All that. It's like, I love it. So it's an absolute yes from me for Raising Arizona.
Yeah, Raising Arizona is fantastic. It's just great, especially the whole chase scene, like throughout the supermarket and stuff. It's just one of those incredible chase scenes. That I think is just fun to watch. But yeah, the movie itself I think is great. And yeah, basically what everyone else said. Steve, what do you say about Raising Arizona?
I saw, like, I've seen this movie like a couple of times, but like this recent rewatch, I've actually moved it from a 9 to a 10. So this is a recent added masterpiece to my to the Coen's 5 that I got in my mind, along with A Serious Man, Fargo, and No Country for Old Men. I'll talk another one about that later. But Nicolas Cage, this is just pure Nicolas Cage. Like, the Barry Sonnenfeld cinematography is amazing. It's literally, because I don't know if you know this, but I believe Joel worked with Sam Raimi on the first Evil Dead in terms of helping out with the crew, and you can tell from like the Evil Dead to Raising Arizona that cinematography, that rushing cinematography, is really adapted into this movie, along with Carter Burwell. I think Carter Burwell's best score comes from this movie. I mean, you can't get more iconic than the yodeling. I mean, I would probably say yodeling probably is not something I would hear on the radio, but if I were to choose one, it would be the score of Raising Arizona. Let's not also, Nick, we're talking about Nicolas Cage. Let's also not forget Holly Hunter. Holly Hunter delivering a great performance as Ed. You definitely feel the pain, the shame, the joy, a whole gamut of emotions going. It's probably her second best performance since Broadcast News, in my opinion. But yeah, and then you also have Frances McDormand popping in. You also have Trey Wilson as Nathan Arizona, who delivers a pretty good soliloquy at the end about the couple. But yeah, man, definitely Raising Arizona deserves to be here for sure.
Yeah, that Raising Arizona is going to make the list. Wolf, we go back to you for your next nomination.
So it's actually a good segue, because there's one that I did rewatch pretty recently, and it went from a 9 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 for this rewatch. So this is now one of their masterpieces, in my opinion. And this is, anyone who knows me knows my favorite genre of music is folk music. I'm always gonna love the folk genre. And I just think that this captures the folk music genre in the best way possible. Inside Llewyn Davis, really, really exceptional movie that is now a straight up 10 out of 10 masterpiece for me from the Coen brothers. And I think that it's like a top 3 Coen brothers film for me. This is really exceptional. I think Oscar Isaac is great as kind of like a douchey kind of guy who's really understood that he's messed up his life exponentially, and and for a lot of it there's no coming back from some of the things he's done, but he's just trying to survive the best he can in a world that just doesn't seem to be on his side. And I think that it's just a fascinating character study. The music is fantastic. I listen to the soundtrack like every so often. It's just so good. So, and Carey Mulligan is great in this. Like the jabs she makes at him are fantastic. The cinematography is some of the best cinematography in the Coen's filmography. Like, it's so good. It is phenomenal cinematography here. So, yeah, I think Inside Llewyn Davis is one of their masterpieces that will stand the test of time and eventually be talked about along the lines of Fargo and some of these other masterpieces down the road. So,
yeah, Inside Llewyn Davis was one of those movies which I was kind of surprised by because, like, I'm not a big folk music fan. Like, I've definitely got some folk music singers that I do listen to a lot, and I've got it getting more appreciation for them. But the movie itself, I thought was fantastic. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, it made me think Llewyn Davis was a real person. And yeah, and very few movies like do that, especially when you're talking about these fictional singers, where they make it seem like the real was. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. For the longest time, I thought Dewey Cox was a real singer. um, Until I realized it was just John C. Riley. But Steve, what do you say about Inside Llewyn Davis?
Wolfman's preaching to the choir. For sure, this was a movie that I've always, he said this was a movie recently rewatched from a 9 to a 10, just as how mine was from Raising Arizona. For me, this movie has been a 10 ever since I saw it at one of the festival screenings. Oscar Isaac delivers his best performance as, a jerk. He's a guy that puts down everybody he sees, and people try to help him with best intentions, and he just turns them down. And even though he wants to accept it, but he wants like, no, I'm too gracious to accept this. So that polished jerkness that we see in kind of like humbleness of people. It's an inverted way that Oscar Isaacs managed to portray it brilliantly. Let's also talk about Carey Mulligan, John Goodman, Gary Hudlin. We even have Justin Timberlake. We even have Adam Driver. One of the first early appearances of Adam Driver, Outer Space. Just having him sing Outer in his face. It's great. Also, the soundtrack is also fantastic. I literally bought that day when it came out. I still have it somewhere around here. It's the CD version of it, because apparently you can only get 3 songs off from Apple. But it's the Mumford Sons. Mumford and Sons contribute to it.
yeah.
So it shows you how much influence they look forward to in terms of folk songs, that they got one of the best folk singers to contribute to the soundtrack. So absolutely, another Coen masterpiece is on this list. Thank you, Wolfman. Yes, Inside Llewyn Davis deserves to be here.
Their last true masterpiece, in my mind, I think, because I liked Ballad of Buster Scruggs, but it's not like,
Yeah, I agree for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you say about Inside Llewyn Davis?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen, Wolf, and you, Malcolm, you guys said it all. This is a masterpiece of a film. When I saw it back and whenever it came out, I said, this is going to be an Oscar-nominated Best Picture. It's going to get supporting actor. It's going to get all these kind of nominations back then, because I said, this is an incredible movie. And you literally took so much out of my mouth, Steve, that I was going to say about like Adam Driver and Justin Timberlake. And I'm the same way, Malcolm. I wasn't the biggest folk music fan either, but as the years have gone on, I've become more and more of a folk rock music fan, seeing like biopics of like Bob Dylan and people like that in other different types of movies. And I'm like, folk music is a really good music. It really speaks to me as a genre of music. And they really made folk music part of this movie as like a main character of this movie, and that's what was great about it. And like you said, I mean, I think Oscar Isaac is overdue for an Academy Award. I just, one of these days he's going to get one, and hopefully he gets one for Frankenstein. He was great in that. Inside Llewyn Davis, yeah, definitely big yes for me.
So Llewyn Davis is going to make the list, and it comes back around to me. I'm going to bring up one that I watched for the first time for this, because it's been one I've been meaning to get to for ages, and it's Barton Fink. Like, Barton Fink was one of those movies that, like, because I hadn't seen a lot of the earlier Coen Brothers movies. I can't remember what the first one I ever saw was, but I think Barton Fink is one of these fantastic ones, and this is one of those ones like when I was reading up on it, like to find out it was written like in 3 weeks when they had writer's block while making Miller's Crossing. It's just one of those ones that I thought was just interesting to see and just but I thought this was a really good thing, and one of the rare like John Turturro leading movies as well. Is like it was. I don't think he's ever led a lot of movies. I think he's been in a few, but not leading. And I think it's a shame, honestly. But it's just one of those ones, especially being in this kind of like space where we're all loving movies, and especially with this bit like primarily being about like writing a film script and stuff, and just all the people he meets along the way. Like once again, you got John Goodman in here, and you got Tony Shalhoub, John Polito, which pops up a lot in the Coen Brothers movies. And Steve Buscemi is also another thing. And then you got Francis McDormand as the stage actress, but it was just one of those ones where I think it's really fascinating, especially when the actual like event happens, which changes the course of the movie a little bit. But it's just one of those ones. It's very fun and very fast paced, and John Goodman plays a good douche. But Steve, what do you say about Barton Fink?
I definitely agree with everything that you say, Malcolm, in terms of how Barton Fink is a really good movie. It has a great cast, and it has amazing production design. But unfortunately, this falls outside my 12, just a bit outside. Like I said, in the intro, I mentioned watching Barton Fink. I honestly found myself in and out, not consciously, because I wasn't injured or anything, but just like it's like watching a movie. I found myself in and out of the movie so much that while I admire its achievement in filmmaking, it doesn't really, for me, stick the landing in terms of being quite the memorable film that it is. So I'm going to give it a slight no. Yeah.
Dan, what do you say about Barton Fink?
Yeah, I'm very similar to Steve, except I'm on the other side of the fence. Barton Fink barely makes it in my 12, and I think John Turturro is amazing. This showed that he deserved more roles in Hollywood, and he ended up getting more roles in Hollywood after this. And he worked with the Coen Brothers quite a bit in the 90s, So yeah, I actually, it's not one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies, but when you're talking about 12, they don't have many more than 12 movies under their in filmography, unless you start separating them one at a time and all that kind of stuff. I think it deserves to be in the 12 when you're talking about 12.
Okay.
Wolf, what do you say about Barton Fink?
So, actually, the Coens, in terms of movies that they've written together, they've actually written about 18 movies together. But a lot of them start falling into like Hail Caesar territory or falling into Lady Killers territory, stuff like that. So, they're like films that people weren't as acclaimed on and such when they came out. So, I actually think Hail Caesar is very underrated. But that's my point, though, is that it's not. There's actually several there, and a little fun fact here: John Turturro is in this movie with Tony Shalhoub, and they both play brothers in one of my favorite TV shows of all time, which is Monk, which is really kind of a fun little fact there. But I think this absolutely deserves to be in the 12. This film just feels very surreal, like a hellish nightmare that you're in, and you're just like don't know how to get out of it. And I feel like this is actually, oddly, this is weird to say, but I feel like this might be the Coens' most personal movie to date. Maybe just because to them, this is something that really connects because they're screenwriters. They know what it's like to have writer's block, and just to be in that kind of a situation, it does feel like hell, and if you are a writer, you are going to connect to this. I've written stuff before. I definitely connect to this too on that level of like, it does feel like hell when you can't come up with something. And so I think that there is this movie has a lot to say, and I think it's very rewatchable. So for me, it's a definite yes.
But that part I think is going to make the list. Steve, we go back to you for your next nomination.
So one of the last films of the '90s to come from the Coens brothers is a cult classic. It didn't in 1998. It didn't even make it into. I don't think it made it outside the top 10. Maybe it was number 8 in the weekend. I'm talking about The Big Lebowski. The Big Lebowski is a very interesting take on the film noir genre, in which it's basically following a character that kind of doesn't really give a shit, except that he just wants his rug that connected, because it really tied the room together, man. It's such a frantic, fantastic screenplay. Just the fact that, and most of the great dialogue also comes from John Goodman, who I think this is his best performance. This is his best performance, along with the lines that we talked about Barton Fink, which is a great performance from him as well. But this is his masterclass in acting as Walter, a PTSD-ridden Vietnam vet who converts to Judaism just because he married someone of the Judaism faith, and also Shabbos. He doesn't want to go off and lives so faithful. We have to talk about John Turturro as the Jesus. We also have Steve Buscemi as Donnie. We have Ben Gazzara as Jackie Treehorn, freaking Julianne Moore, Philip Seymour Hoffman. This is a Tara Reid as Bunny Lebowski. This is a cast that's just so ripe full of excellent characterizations. Sam Elliott as the narrator, just a perfect guy. You want to get a narrator, you get Sam Elliott to narrate your movie, and it's just fantastic. Like it's random, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense. Once you watch this movie over 2 times, a lot of things that happen is random, but they're all connected to each other, and it makes sense in a way. And in the end, it turns out to be just something that's really not of consequence, except for maybe the departure of a dear friend. So Big Lebowski should be on this list.
Dan, what do you say about The Big Lebowski?
Yeah, I mean, how many movies do you know that have their own convention every year, and everybody comes there and dresses up as the characters from the movie and whatnot? And what movie do you know? I mean, a lot of movies have done this probably, but I just don't know all that have made a drink famous. This movie literally made the White Russian everybody and their brother wanted to drink White Russians after this. I mean, it is such a quotable movie. It like you mentioned John Turturro. They even did a spit-off of the Jesus Rules. Not that good of a movie, but they still did a spit-off of the movie. And that was a funny character. And like you said, John Goodman and Steve Buscemi, all these guys. This is a big yes for me. I absolutely love this movie. You know what's weird is when people love a movie, sometimes this happens a lot. And I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but it's then people just want to start crapping on a movie because so many people love something. It's shut the hell up, will you? Something's good and people like it. Let it be good and let people like it. Don't be crapping on something just because people like something. This is a movie that deserves the acclaim and the love that it has gotten. It's a great movie. So I'm saying big yes.
Wolf, what do you say about The Big Lebowski?
So when I turned 21, the very first ever alcoholic drink I ever tried was a White Russian, because I loved The Big Lebowski so much that I wanted my first alcoholic beverage to be a White Russian. So my sister made it for me, and it was really good. But yeah, I talked about earlier how Fargo is my favorite, or Fargo is the best Coen Brothers film. This is my number 1 favorite Coen Brothers film of all time. I think this is exceptional. I've rewatched it several times, and I think that the more I see it, a lot of people want to just look at The Big Lebowski as just pure slapstick. And on occasions, there is some slapstick moments in there. There is some really funny stuff, but it's actually very profound when you actually break it down about a man who is just trying to get by in the world and there's actually really a lot of deeper elements to it that people don't really talk about as much. And I think everyone is great in this. It's very quotable. This is what happens when you fuck a man in the ass. I love that. It's so quotable, and yeah, it's just one of their masterpieces in my opinion. So I'm gonna say big yes for The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, I'm surprised it took this long to get to it. Honestly, I was personally like nominating other things because I figured this was going to come up eventually, but the fact it was taking this long surprised me. Yeah, but I love The Big Lebowski. And yeah, this is arguably probably one of the most polarizing movies too. It's like this is one of those ones where there is camps of people that don't like this, and there's camps of people that do like this. But it's each their own. It's just one of those ones that will be what it is. But I think The Big Lebowski is fantastic. I think it belongs on this list, and yes, so it's a yes for me. Steve, what do you say about The Big Lebowski?
Yeah, man. Big Lebowski. Well, wasn't it the one I brought it up?
Yeah, Steve's the one who brought it up.
I mean, I could talk about Big Lebowski all day.
We don't want. Steve, you got your turn. We don't want to talk anymore. Wax poetic.
The dude abides.
We'll save that for a last time, first time, maybe, whatever. Shout out to David, by the way.
But that Big Lebowski is going to make the list. Dan, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Yeah, that was a funny bit, Malcolm. Good job on that. Next year, there's a movie coming out from Christopher Nolan called The Odyssey, and that everybody is looking forward to it. But the Coen brothers already made their version of The Odyssey. It came out in the greatest year of movies of all time, I believe, 1999. Am I correct? If I'm wrong, let me know. Called Oh Brother, 2000, you say? Came in 1999, 2000. Okay, I'm off by a little bit, I guess. Yeah. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And you want to talk about folk music? This movie put folk music on the map again. You know, Bob Dylan and all those guys, Woody Guthrie, all those guys. But this movie had one of the biggest hits of the year. Was a song from this movie, and it was a folk song, and it was a kind of a Dust Bowl comedy, kind of 1960s period piece, but basically was The Odyssey. And it had John Turturro, John Goodman. I mean, it had all these guys. George Clooney. I mean, Tim Blake Nelson, who, you know, we see, obviously they would work with years later on the Buster Scruggs. He was amazing in this. I mean, what an incredible movie. It's still to this day, I laugh every time I watch this. And if you're going to do a list of Coen Brothers movies, you got to have their version of The Odyssey. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Wolf, what do you say about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, again, I'm going to keep on referencing because I really got into the Coen Brothers when I was in high school. So I'm going to keep on mentioning my high school days. So in high school, they made us read The Odyssey as one of the novels that, you know, we had to read for homework. And once we completed it, on like the last day of school, they had like as a nice, or it might not even been the last day of school, but they had us watch all in the class together. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And now, you know, we were able to watch it with the Odyssey fresh in our minds and everything. And yeah, it's funny that it's actually a pretty faithful adaptation, honestly. Even though it's literally done in a very quirky, more modern setting, it's still very faithful. And I know which song you're referring to. I think it's the one that's like, I came down in sorrow or something, however it goes. I forget how it goes. But yeah, that's a really good song. For me, Down to the River to Pray was my favorite song in there. That they did. That was really excellent. And I think this is so good. George Clooney, John Turturro, Tim Blake Nelson. They just work so well together. Yeah, John Goodman's fantastic in here too. The script is well written and very quotable. Not the laugh stock. I think this is a really great Coen Brothers film. So it's a yes for me.
Yeah. I it's been a while since I've seen this, but I do love Our Brother Out There a lot. I think it's really good, and yeah, I do really like the music in here as well. I think it's fantastic. So it's a yes for me. Steve, what do you say about Our Brother Out There?
Yes, Oh Brother Where Art Thou is probably my first exposure in terms of the Odyssey of Greek mythology. No, in terms of film, because I didn't really go out of my way maybe to like see Clash of the Titans, but that's a whole different story. Because it's great. It's a great cast. I mean, this is George Clooney at his most goofiest. Well, maybe we'll talk about another movie about one of his more goofy roles there, but John, just a trio of George Clooney, John Turturro, and Tim Blake Nelson they definitely have that chemistry in which they've spent so much time together that they know each other, and they can heckle and beat each other down emotionally because they're kind of like brother. Big fan of Soggy Bottom Boys, Man of Constant Sorrow, because
There you go.
That was it.
It's great because it was, I believe it was also, I might be wrong, but I think it might have won a Grammy for that year in 2001. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it got nominated and possibly won. It's great. It's a movie I haven't seen in a while, but from what I remember, I really enjoyed the hell out of it, especially Man of Constant Sorrow. I always have that on my mind constantly when I'm thinking about stuff. So yes, Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
That Oh Brother Out There is going to make the list. Wolf, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
I can't believe Oh Brother Where Art Thou turns 25 years old this year. That's kind of crazy. I just thought about that. Happy 25th anniversary to Oh Brother Where Art Thou. So the next one that I'm going to mention is, I will mention this one because also in high school, this is the last time I'm talking about high school. Don't worry. Also in high school, we studied a lot of Shakespeare. And one of the Shakespeare plays that we studied was Macbeth. And we, would rehearse the lines and all this stuff. We did a few Shakespeare plays. We never actually did the Macbeth play, but we read over the script and practiced a few lines of Macbeth and all that together. And so I was very knowledgeable of Shakespeare. And then whenever in 2021, I believe it was, whenever Tragedy of Macbeth came out, I had that knowledge of Shakespeare, and this movie blew me away because I think that Denzel Washington, first off, he is one of our greatest actors to ever grace the screen. And if it was up to me, that year I would have given him Best Actor. I think his performance here was exceptional. There's a certain rhythm you have to do when you are doing Shakespeare. A lot of people are just read Shakespeare, and it's okay, they're just reading Shakespeare. But there's a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat that you have to do. And he managed to get that rhythm down perfectly reading it. And it's he's always been a theater actor that did stage theater and all that. So you can tell because he knew the material that he was reading. And so he's exceptional here. Frances McDormand is really great in there too as Lady Macbeth. And I think that the cinematography, some of the best cinematography I've seen in a movie ever. I think it deserved the Academy Award that year for cinematography, personally, to me, because it was just exceptional. It's very haunting and just, and very beautiful and somber. And I know a good buddy of ours, Austin, says that Apple TV Plus is where movies go to die. I see what he's saying for some, but then you have stuff like Tragedy of Macbeth that are on Apple TV Plus that are exceptional and near masterpieces that need to be seen. So yeah, I'm gonna say a yes for that one. So
just to correct you slightly, Austin doesn't say it's where movies go to die; it's where actors go to hide.
Actors go to hide. Okay.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Uh, but yeah, I actually saw this for the first time for this because I missed it when it first came out and just but yeah, I mean it's a good adaptation of Macbeth. I do like it. But honestly, it's just one of those ones that I wasn't as connected as I was as with other Macbeth adaptations that I've seen. And I just don't know what it is about this one that just disconnected me. And just, I'm also a big Shakespeare fan. Like I like a lot of Shakespeare adaptations and that. Like, but I thought this was good. But it's going to be a no for me. It ended up a little bit low on my list. Steve, what do you say about the tragedy of Macbeth?
I'm going to say yes. This is the only time I've ever watched Macbeth in any type of form. I know it's been done a dozen times in theaters, PBS broadcasts, books, whatever. I haven't even read Macbeth. The fact that I was aware of Macbeth and of the mythology and the idealism and the stuff that came from Macbeth, but to actually sit down and watch a full length movie of Macbeth, this was my first time, and it was quite a first time. I mean, like you said, the cinematography should have won the award. Should have won the award that year. Denzel should have won his third Oscar. There's a lot of should have. Hell, I even think Catherine Hunter, who plays the witches and the old man, deserved to be nominated for that year because it's not only the voice work but the physicality, especially in the opening scene with the way she contorts herself. It's so fantastic. She actually kind of like contorts herself in as an animal, that which makes it unforgettable to get out of your mind. Hell, if you think about it, this movie kind of acts like a little bit like a horror movie at times. If you have murders are bound and plots are going and the cinematography just feels so reminiscent of like 30s Hammer pictures. It was a fine format, especially this is being the first film that is of Joel Coen by himself. This is the first film that he did by himself without Ethan. So to have him do that as his first film coming out just by himself, hella way to go. So yes, I think the tragedy of Macbeth deserves to be here.
And Dan, what do you say about the tragedy of Macbeth?
Yeah, I said earlier that it won the best film of the year in my guild that I was in that year, and I really did like the movie. I really do agree with you, Wolf. The cinematography is great, but if you knew that it was all on a sound stage, how much more incredible would you think the cinematography was? None of it was on location anywhere. The whole movie was filmed on a sound stage. All that was all fake. Everything you saw was all fake. Just sets and stuff. And it's like, wow, that he turned that into that beautiful of a black and white film, And I agree with Steve. Catherine Hunter, oh yeah, she was incredible. Denzel Washington, Harry Melling, you might know him as Dudley Dursley. Brendan Gleeson, I believe, is in it. It's got a really good cast. I had this below the 12 on my list, but you guys knocked something else that I had on the list. So I was prepared if somebody brought this up to say yes to it. So I'm going to say yes to the tragedy of Macbeth.
The tragedy of Macbeth is going to make the list.
It won't be a tragedy for that movie today.
But it comes back around to me. There's one or two ways I want to go. It's like you've got 3 spots left, and you've got one that I think should be on here that I don't know if someone else will come up. But one that I think has to be on here. I'm going to go for that one. It's 15 years old today, or this year. I'm going on True Grit. And this is another one that I'm surprised it's taken this long before someone got to it. Because I think this one deserved to win Best Picture the year it came out. And I think it's just a fantastic remake. And
whoa, over the Social Network? You think it deserved to win over the Social Network?
yeah,
Oh, all right.
I think True Grit's amazing. And I think it's fantastic. I think the actors do a great job in this. And yes, and I think Jeff Bridges is a great Rooster Cogburn in that. So yeah, gonna see how this goes. But Steve, what do you say about True Grit?
I don't think you should see how it goes. I agree. This is a movie that I've actually rewatched and that I actually had at a 4 that I bumped up to 4.5. So it actually moved up to the spot that where I want it. Now it's not it's not a masterpiece in my opinion in terms of the Coen brothers, the filmography, but it's pretty darn close. Guys, we're talking about there's something about Coen brothers cinematography that just chef's kiss. I mean, I believe this is Roger Deakins. This is Roger Deakins' cinematography, and by God, does he create so many unforgettable images in this movie that, like, especially with the way that the movie opens with the dead body and the windowsill shining the light from the windowsill, showing how Tom Cheney killed Maddie's father. It just starts on a great cinematic note and it ends on a cinematic note. Hell, I'll even say this: Jeff Bridges is a hell of a lot better Rooster Cogburn than John Wayne was. I'll say it because he manages to.
John Wayne won the Oscar for this.
Oh yeah, for sure. He won the Oscar for this, but it doesn't mean that other people has not surpassed him in that role. And I think
it's the character everybody knows John Wayne by, Rooster Cogburn. But that's fine. No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying.
Well, the Searchers, but Stagecoach, but I digress. And just Haley Stanfield, breakout role, getting nominated for an Oscar that year. And who was nominated that year? I think she should have won for that one, for that role as Maddie. Josh Brolin as Tom Cheney, Matt Damon as LaBeouf. I even love the way that they incorporated, because apparently the Coen brothers more in tone with the novel than with the movie. The first movie, that a lot of the stuff is picked up from the novel. Especially, I love the way that Maddie was haggling with the owner of the horses. That is just a great piece of dialogue from the adaptation of the Coens to the original author's work. So yes, I think True Grit definitely deserves to be on here.
Yeah. No, I wasn't trying to dispute anything you were saying, Steve. I was agreeing. I'm agreeing. I want to tell you right now, I agree with everything you said. I just thought that was kind of weird that you said that he's better. I mean, the guy won the Oscar for the character, but Jeff Bridges is pretty freaking amazing. He's coming off of Crazy Heart, I believe, at this time. This is his next role after Crazy Heart, and then he has this Crazy Heart. He wins the Oscar, then he does a great job in this movie. So it's kind of like, wow, Jeff Bridges is kind of coming back into our public consciousness at this time in his career, And everything you said is amazing. I'm a massive Westerns fan, and I like it when, if you're going to remake a classic, you do it in a great way. Because classics, you just don't just take every classic and let's remake a classic. Like, for instance, High and Low recently, where Spike Lee remade High and Low, and he did a phenomenal job with Highest to Lowest, if you ask me. He didn't write the script, though. But, yeah, so this is a remake that is equal, if not better, than the original. And that's what you need to do when you make remakes. You don't just willy-nilly just remake classic films that are great films, that are memorable films, But if you're gonna do it, you damn sure better do it good. And the Coen brothers did with True Grit. So yeah, I'm a big yes for True Grit as well.
And Wolf, what do you say about True Grit?
And I also want to say I wasn't trying to like knock you down or anything, Malcolm. I was just kind of surprised there for a second because I've never heard anyone say like that about True Grit of like they thought it should have won Best Picture because like when looking at the 2010 lineup, it was so good to me that I love True Grit, so I'm definitely gonna like say it was great, but like it was my fourth favorite because of the nominees. Because when it came to like the nominees, we had The Social Network, Inception, Toy Story 3, and then True Grit for me. It was like that was fourth. So I really like True Grit a lot. And I will say on Steve's point, while John Wayne won the Oscar, Jeff Bridges was still nominated for an Oscar for playing the same character. So he did still at least get an Academy Award nomination. And he did a phenomenal job in here. I always like to brag about this, but like it was a short amount of time, like, but I sort of kind of knew Haley before she went on to do True Grit because we were like on a vacation together. I was on a vacation, and then just so happened Haley Steinfeld, like when we were very very young kids, that she was there, and it was just before she even became famous. We talked for a little bit and all that stuff, and like exchanged our like parents' emails or numbers, and would just like talk to each other a little bit on that way, and then we just kind of stopped talking and never talked to each other again after she was in True Grit and became like really big and famous and everything. But I always support everything she does now because of that. And Haley is she's so good in this movie. And I think that this was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but did she get an Oscar nomination for this? I think she.
Yes.
Yeah, she was one of the youngest to get an Oscar nomination for.
Once again, a child who does a phenomenal job doesn't win an Oscar because the Academy just forgets about child actors. Oh God, it's a child. Well, no, they're not going to win. Last one was Anna Paquin.
Yeah, it's just like it's very rare for a child actor to win, and I think that Haley Steinfeld was good enough to be in the winning conversation for this for sure. So. Yeah, for me, it's a definite yes for True Grit. I think I don't know if I will say Jeff was better than John Wayne necessarily, but I will say that True Grit, Coen Brothers True Grit, is a better movie than John Wayne's True Grit, in my opinion. So, yeah. So,
but that True Grit is going to make the list. But we've got 2 spots left. Steve, what movie are you going to bring up next?
So the year of our Lord is 1990. It's a great film, a great year for film. We have a gangster film by the name of Goodfellas, but we also have another gangster film in the name of Miller's Crossing. There's this association of gangster film, like I prefer Goodfellas over Miller's Crossing or Miller's Crossing. Over good, but listen, why can't they both be in the conversation? They're both fantastic gangster films. Now they're of a different taste. Yes, they are. You have Scorsese and the Coens, but they also have they bring different stuff to the table when it comes to the way that they filmmaking. Goodfellas was all about the excess, the life of the mob style. This is Miller's Crossing is like the antithesis of the mob lifestyle. This is set during the Great Depression, where basically you can get shot at any time, any day. At least you're in the 60s, you're kind of pre-warned based on your actions. Here, you can get shot anytime you want. You can get raided anytime you want. This is the time where we had prohibition. Police just storming in and out of bars, just shutting people down. It's a great take on the mob genre. It has an awesome cast, including the absolutely fantastic Albert Finney. We also have Gabriel Byrne, Marcia Gay Harden, and John Turturro's first foray with the Coens, right before starting doing Barton Fink. I mean, he's Bernie. He look into your heart. But it's fantastic. It has amazing. I would probably say the second best Carter Burnwell score of the Coens filmography, right after Raising Arizona, because there's a really good solid score that's very tragic but very beautiful at the same time. Hell, you even have a cameo from Sam Raimi as the police man who gets shot in one of the raids. The fact that also with Sam Raimi in the movie, I mean, that gets an instant up with me, man. So Miller's Crossing.
But then, what do you say about Miller's Crossing?
Yeah, this is going to be my next one I was going to bring up. Like I said before with Blood Simple, I caught up with this one years after it came out on the Criterion collection and got the Criterion and then had to send the Criterion back because there was something wrong with it. And then I got the new version of it. And I'm a big fan of Gabriel Byrne in anything, of course, I don't remember everything I saw him in, but the movie that really made me think about him as a great actor was The Usual Suspects. I loved him in that. So everything I have a chance to see with Gabriel Byrne, I try to see it. And I was glad to see him in this, and he was really good in this movie. And like you said, you basically said everything, Steve, about the Prohibition in the 1920s. I love movies set in that era, especially when they're done well. But I mean, just between the four of us here or wherever anybody is watching, Goodfellas any day of the week, 5 days on, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, twice on Sunday, whatever you want to say it, all day, every day for me. Goodfellas, 100 times better film than Miller's Crossing. For me, I am a gangster guy. I love the gangster life, but I did like Miller's Crossing, so I'm going to say yes.
Wolf, what do you say about Miller's Crossing?
I think that this is a great film. This was a first-time watch. I watched it today for this video, so it's very fresh in my mind. I thought this was very exceptional. I agree. I like Goodfellas better, but I want to say that I really respect that this is more mature. This is a more mature film than like necessarily like Casino and some of those other gangster films, because those are all like, oh, you slept with my wife, I'm gonna beat you up, you slept with my wife, and it's like that, like it's like half the dialogue or whatever, and that's like in like all those gangster films. But in this one is a lot more deeper and profound in its dialogue and the way that it's like expressing this kind of gangster lifestyle and you're following this character who's like, you can tell he doesn't really want to be a part of this lifestyle, but he's just thrown into it. And John Turturro, he is a straight up ass in this movie. Like, oh my God, is he annoying? But he's so good. He's very versatile as an actor, and I thought he was really exceptional in here. And the main actor, I am blanking out on his name, but he was also the father in Hereditary, which was really cool. Gabriel Byrne, yeah, he was exceptional here. The whole cast is really great. So it's a definite yes for me for Miller's Crossing. This is now up there as one of my favorite Coen films for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. I do. Yeah. I also watched Miller's Crossing for this, and I think it is a great movie. And so I'm gonna go, but there's a couple that I think should be on the list. That I will give us a slight note of, but it doesn't matter. Because Miller's Crossing's going to make the list anyway. But yeah, I do think it is a good movie though. So Miller's Crossing is going to make the list. And Dan, we go to you next. So what is your next nomination?
Yeah, I made a mistake earlier when I said Malcolm watched The Man Who Wasn't There on Netflix. What I meant to say was I saw on Letterboxd that Malcolm had watched The Man Who Wasn't There, and I was glad that Malcolm saw The Man Who Wasn't There, because I was like, okay, either him or me are going to bring this up. And wow, Billy Bob Thornton in this movie. You want to talk about film noir? This is film noir at us. The way the packaging, the poster, the the black and white, just oh god, I love when a modern director. I mean, look, they've been directing since the '80s, so I mean, 45 years, if you will. So I guess they're kind of a modern director, but they've been around quite a long time. The Coen brothers have. So, but for them to get to like a true film noir, and Billy Bob Thornton is great in it, and I just love the whole. You want to talk about cinematography? That cinematography in that was really good. It had Frances McDormand in there. It's like what you think about with a film noir. I just saw one the other day that Wolf obviously didn't like, but I did like, called Honey Don't. But this is more in the vein of like a neo noir film noir, but it looked like a classic Humphrey Bogart. That kind of Philip Marlowe kind of thing back in the day, but yeah, I love The Man Who Wasn't There, and hopefully you guys have seen it and agree with me.
Wolf, what do you say about The Man Who Wasn't There?
Well, I am the wolf man that wasn't there to see this movie, because this is maybe the only blind spot now I have for the Coen brothers. I was trying to catch up on several. I caught up on 3 for this, but The Man Who Wasn't There is now the only blind spot I have for Coen brothers. So unfortunately, I haven't gotten around seeing it. I am eager to check it out. I've been hearing so much amazing things, especially the cinematography. I've been hearing great things about that, and I'm a sucker for great cinematography as well. So, and it's done by Roger Deakins too. That's what I know too. So that makes me also really excited. He's like my favorite cinematographer. So I'll definitely give it a watch at some point, and I'm sure I'm gonna love it. But I'm almost tempted to say yes, even though I haven't seen it, just because there's one other film on here that I think is very underrated, but I think that a lot of people are not going to have in their 12. And I don't know if I want to risk mentioning it and then us getting like a even worse film in the 12. I don't know. So, shoot. This is a tough one. But you know what? I'm just gonna see how it plays out. I'm just gonna say no for now, just because I haven't seen it yet. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I did watch it for this. I don't have time to. I still have about like 30 minutes left of in it. But all I can say is I probably wasn't going to bring it up. I like that I'm not as blown away from it, so it's going to be a no for me. But Steve, what do you say about The Man Who Wasn't There?
So it's been a while since I've seen this movie. I've only seen it once, but unfortunately, it didn't really strike me as one of the best of Coen's, in my opinion. I love everything that goes into it. I love the cast. I love the cinematography, but just for me, a lot of moments in that movie, even though I've seen it probably like almost 24 years ago, I still can't recall. I can't recall any scene that's memorable except for a particular scene at the end that sticks out. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know. If you know, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna have to say no.
That The Man Who Wasn't There is going to be the movie that is not here on this list. But Wolf, on to you. What is the next movie you're going to bring up?
All right, so I'm going to take a risk with it because I think this is a very underrated movie that a lot of people do not appreciate enough, I feel. And I feel like because they watched it once and they didn't really go back to it and see the deeper elements in there. And I've seen this film a couple times now, and I love it more each time I see it. You know, I just got to hail the Coen brothers for making Hail Caesar, because I think that Hail Caesar is actually really underrated. I think it's a kind of almost like an homage to that time of period of film. I think it's if you are a sucker for old classic Hollywood, I think that you're really going to get something out of Hail Caesar. I think the whole ensemble cast is great, and what a cast it is of like Josh Brolin, George Clooney, Alden Ehrenreich, Ralph Fiennes, Scarlett Johansson, Tilda Swinton, Channing Tatum, Frances McDormand, Jonah Hill. The list goes on and on and on. It's a massive cast, all playing it really well. Alden Ehrenreich, this was like my first introduction to him, and he was brilliant. This is what really put him on the map and had him be able to play like solo and all that stuff. What it was so simple, that whole scene is great. I absolutely love Hail Caesar. I think it's actually very underrated. So it's not in my 12, but we've already gone through all my 12. But it's like just outside it for me. So I'm gonna say Hail Caesar. That's my.
So here's the thing. I do also love Hail Caesar. It is in my personal 12. There is a movie that is higher up on my personal 12 that hasn't been mentioned yet that I think belongs on this list as well. But I do love Hail Caesar a lot. I do think it is good. Just because there's one higher up on my list, I am going to give it a slight no see and see what everyone else is going to say. But Steve, what do you say about Hail Caesar?
Despite your love for the movie, obviously you do really love this movie and everything about it. I'm gonna have to say hell no. Pardon me, but it was there. It was there for the reaching. I had to go for the joke. This actually, in my opinion, actually one of the weakest ones in the Coen brothers filmography. Might be a controversial take. I either had a bad mood watching it, but I again, despite how I think it's probably one of their weakest, I again admired the work that goes into films, the way that it's basically almost as a homage to MGM films, to old school Hollywood. How they have a fixer as the main character, how they have Ray Found's attitude. So simple. So simple. It's just, that exchange is probably one of the best scenes in a Coen Brothers movie, despite me saying it's probably one of the weakest films in their filmography. But again, I'm gonna have to say hell no.
And Dan, what do you say about Hail Caesar?
Yeah, this came up on the Josh Brolin a couple weeks ago, and the first time I saw it, I didn't like it that much, and I remember giving it a bad review, but I've since seen it again, and I realized the mistake I made at that time, and I didn't see what it was going for and what it was trying to do. And the second time around, when I saw it again, I realized, oh man, how did I miss this? How did I miss the point of what this movie was trying to say and what it was going for? And Alden Ehrenreich is coming out partying, like you said, Steve. Josh Brolin is the fixer. He's really good in it. Yeah, I mean, I would have said yes for this. I would have actually said yes for Hail Caesar after the fact, originally not liking it, and then later on revisiting it and liking it.
But that Hail Caesar is not going to make the list. And one thing I'll note, like we've talked about Deacon sporadically, is that he actually is the cinematography for most of the Coen Brothers movies.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
just like Carter Burwell did the scores for like most of Coen Brothers movies. So,
yeah, because like they went from Barry Sonnenfeld, who sort of became a director after Miller's Crossing, and then like moved on to Roger Deakins from there. Like I'm not too sure if he did everything since then, but he's did most of them. Anyway, but I just sort of mentioned that. But anyway, moving on. To me, I'm going to bring up the movie that I was alluding to, and that's the Hudsucker Proxy. I think the Hudsucker Proxy is a really fun madcap story, and a good sort of fast-paced thing about this guy who's kind of gets looped into doing this whole like business thing, and it's just this fun movie. Just this really wacky, off the wall comedy, and I just have a lot of fun watching it. I think it's fantastic. I love it so much. But Steve, what do you say about the Hudsucker Proxy?
Again, I say with all love, I love what they were going with Hudsucker Proxy. This was one of the first movies I saw Tim Robbins in, but I do appreciate the screwball comedy elements to it, but at the same time, some of the not the plot points, but some of the stuff that happens in the movie don't really like certain scenes. When I think of certain scenes from Coen Brother movie, I don't think of scenes from Hudsucker Proxy. And it just, aside from the opening of Michael Lerner just jumping out the window, that's all I know about that movie. And I've seen it twice, and that's all I can remember about that movie. Unfortunately, even if it has one of my favorite B-list actors, Bruce Campbell, in it, I would have to say no to the Hudsucker Proxy.
Dan, what do you say about the Hudsucker Proxy?
Yeah, if this came up, because the lists we're getting kind of down to the bottom of the list of what you could possibly nominate. I said to myself, this is one of the ones that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I do like Tim Robbins in this. I definitely like Tim Robbins, but I said to myself, if this comes up and somebody brings it up, I'll say yes to it, because we're getting down to where it was not a whole lot we could bring up. So I will say yes to the Hudsucker Proxy for that reason.
Wolf, what do you say about the Hudsucker Proxy?
Yeah, so this was another one I watched for this, was the Hudsucker Proxy. I haven't seen it up until this point. It's streaming free on Tubi, so I got to check it out. And yeah, I think that this is definitely not like top tier Coen Brothers. It's not in my 12 even, but because all of my 12 has been mentioned, and all the ones even slightly outside the 12 that I really love have been mentioned, I think it's starting to get to the point now where it's like, if I don't say yes to this, then are we really gonna like nominate like the Lady Killers or some shit? Like it's starting to get to that level. So for me, I'm at the stage of, I think this is a fun kind of manic, wild kind of comedy. Great performances from Jennifer Jason Leigh, from Tim Robbins, and even Bill Cobbs, I thought. And I had no idea Bruce Campbell was in this movie. It was really fun seeing Bruce Campbell pop up too. So for me, I will give this a yes, just because, again, there's some other movies on here that I think are very weak Coen Brothers films that I just don't want to see get put into the 12. So I'm gonna say yes for it.
But that Hudsucker Proxy is going to make the list and close it off. And yeah, I mean, for me personally, like, they're really, like, aside from Lady Killers, which I will say this, I don't hate it as much as other people. But it's still near the bottom of the list for me anyway. It's like there's not really anything else that I would have been upset if it made the list or not. So
Yeah.
It shows how strong the filmography actually is.
Yeah, like the next one I would have mentioned is the Battle of Buster Scruggs if I didn't get in, and because I really like that, and I did like Drive-Away Dolls, and I liked the first 2/3 of Burn After Reading, so I thought I would have been okay with.
Well, just because those the only three that would have been left anyway.
Yeah.
I would have nominated Burn After Reading, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So that we're going to, because we've already mentioned all the honorable mentions that they could have been.
Well, I mean, nobody said Honey Don't, and I actually really like that movie. Wolf obviously did not like Honey Don't. I thought it had a great film noir, neo noir feel to it, and it's Ethan doing. He did Drive Away Dolls, and now he did Honey Don't. It's the where you see these guys aren't working together. You could see where maybe the other one would help, like if Joel would help Ethan in Drive Away Dolls and here Honey Don't, maybe both of them could have been better. this is better than Drive Away Dolls for me, Honey Don't. So yeah, I actually thought it was decent. I liked the main character played by
Well,
Barbara Wall.
I mean, I don't know about Steve, but Honey Don't hit them, but I haven't seen Honey Don't, so that probably would have been.
I haven't seen it either, so it would have been.
Yeah,
I thought to me it was a little too slapstick personally for my taste. Yeah, there's a lot of really like kind of kooky stuff, especially with Charlie Day's character and such that they like.
Oh, he was being himself. He was just being Charlie Day.
Yeah, so I think it was a little bit too much of that.
You're saying that's too much Charlie Day in that movie there?
No, he was actually. That's the issue. I feel like a lot of the characters were just kind of wasted. Margaret Qualley is really good, but I feel like a lot of the characters, like there's something that happened. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's something that happens to a character, and the character's never even brought up again, and like they just totally forgot they were even in the movie. It's like, oh, okay, so I guess it's just like this, like certain stuff happens to characters and they're not even brought up again. It's like it was way too way too much of a cast and felt convoluted to me. So
yeah, but yeah, my least favorite Coen Brothers one is one that technically like they've just got a short movie in this confirmation of other short movies, and that's the To Each His Own Cinema sort of confirmation movie where they only put in a short in that, but it's like a lot of the movie was just like nothing. Like it's really like all the shorts weren't that interesting. But yeah. But with that, get time to rank what we've got. But Steve, what movie do you have for number 12?
Hudsucker Proxy.
Dan, what do you have for 12?
Hudsucker Proxy.
Wolf, what do you have?
Hudsucker Proxy.
I had Tragedy Macbeth, but Hudsucker Proxy is going to be at 12.
Oh shoot! And now it's hard. Oh shoot! I'm looking at the list here. Oh my gosh! Oh man.
Dan, what do you have for 11?
Tragedy of Macbeth.
Wolf, what do you have for 11?
I am still writing it, but I also have a Tragedy of Macbeth. I'm using a highlighter today. Couldn't find a marker, so it's kind of harder.
Tragedy of Macbeth, Steve.
I had Barton Fink.
Oof, y'all are not going to like me on this next one. Okay.
But Wolf, what do you have for 10?
I'm about to have Constant Sorrow because I have A Brother Where Art Thou. Yeah.
I've got A Serious Man. Steve.
Barton Fink.
And Dan.
Barton Fink.
Barton Fink is going to be at 10. But moving on to 9, I'm sticking for Serious Man. Steve.
I also say, "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Dan.
A Serious Man.
And Wolf.
We're tied up. Brother, where art thou?
We've got a two-way tie. We're going to go to the chat. A Serious Man or A Brother Where Art Thou for 9. The first comment I see will be the one that will be the decider. I will get a reel up just in case, which I don't need to because the comments came in quick and fast. But Jonathan got in first, and it's going to be A Brother Where Art Thou.
Nice. All right. Then let's see.
Although given that title, I'm surprised it took them so long to get to a Shakespeare play. Well, at least one of them did anyway. But Steve, what do you have for 8?
True Grit.
Dan, what do you have for 8?
Serious man.
Wolf.
We're about to have another tie. I have True Grit.
Hell yeah, brother.
A Serious Man. So chat, True Grit or Serious Man at 8.
Great minds think alike, Wolfman.
But
Yeah.
Leo got in.
Yeah.
Both Leo and Jonathan.
Dang it. Okay.
Dang it.
But Jonathan also said seeing Barton think that low is surprised.
I agree with you. It is my number 6 or 7 favorite Coen Brothers song.
I would also say the same for actually A Serious Man. I'm surprised it's this low, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that too.
This might be the one that people will be surprised about from me, but Dan, what do you have for 7?
I got Miller's Crossing.
Wolf.
I got True Grit.
For me, I do like all the Coen Brothers movies, so this is no slide on the movie, but No Country for Old Men. And Steve.
True Grit.
But True Grit is going to be at 7. But yeah, True Grit would have been my number 1 personally. But Wolf, what do you have for 6?
I have this one. Y'all might get mad at me at, but I still love it. Is Raising Arizona.
Got No Country for Old Men. Steve.
Miller's Crossing.
And Dan.
Miller's Crossing.
But Miller's Crossing is going to be at 6.
So what do we got left, Malcolm?
We have got Big Lebowski, Inside Llewyn Davis, Raising Arizona, Fargo, and No Country for Old Men left. But Wolf, what do you have for number 5?
For number 5, I will stick with Raising Arizona.
I'm sick of No Country for Old Men. Steve.
Raising Arizona.
Dan.
I had The Big Lebowski.
But Raising Arizona is going to be at 5.
Oh gosh, now it's getting extra hard. Oh no.
This is actually faring well for me, actually.
Oh no.
No, I'm sticking for No Country for Old Men. Steve.
Big Lebowski.
Dan.
Big Lebowski.
And Wolf.
I'm also going to say No Country for Old Men, so we are tied up.
So I've got 2-way tied, No Country for Old Men and the Big Lebowski. So the first comment I see will be the one that will decide on what ends up at 4. and it is Kara, and it is the Big Lebowski.
Yes. Good job, Jonathan.
Nice. That's my favorite Coen, but I understand why it's number 4. So,
Fun fact: number 4 is exactly where I have it on my personal list.
Same.
oh, interesting. Nice.
I have Raising Arizona as 5. I have Big Lebowski as 4, and let's see what happens with 3.
But we've got No Country for Old Men, Fargo, and Inside Llewyn Davis left. Steve, Dan, we go to you. What do you have for 3?
Inside Llewyn Davis. Llewellyn Davis. Llewyn.
I have No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men. Steve.
Inside Llewyn Davis.
So I got another tie, No Country for Old Men, and Inside Llewyn Davis. The first comment I see will decide on what ends up at 3. And I know Jonathan as well as I do. I know you figured we
Yeah, Carl, going it for the win, baby.
Dang it. Dang it.
Stay on it, Carol.
It's inside the. I will say number 3 is where it's at on my personal ranking, Inside Llewyn Davis. But I have No Country for Old Men at number 4, so I'm not like too mad. But I have Inside Llewyn Davis above it.
But with that, instead of voting for number 2, we're going straight to number 1, which has been No Country for Old Men and Fargo, which I'm not going to lie, I kind of figured this would have been the final 2 anyway.
So, we're voting based off of what is the number 1, right?
What's your first? Yeah, what's your number 1?
Okay.
So if you forget to change your board, that's on you. But Steve, what do you have for number 1?
My number 1 movie of the Coen brothers is No Country for Old Men.
Dan, what do you have for number 1?
Fargo.
Fair.
Wolf, what do you have for number 1?
Let's see how far it goes. Fargo.
Fair. Right.
And yeah, Fargo. So Fargo is going to be number 1. No Country for Old Men is going to be at 2.
Fair. If I couldn't have it at number 1, I'll have it at number 2. That's a fair consolation prize.
Ironically enough, it was number 2 in Josh Brolin
I actually predicted this would be the top 3. Like, I thought this was like very much seemed like this was going to be the top 3 going into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like there was a couple I thought True Grit would have been much higher, but I mean, once again, it's one of those ones when you've got a director or group of directors who've made a lot of really good movies. To narrow it down to 12 is always going to be hard. There'll be months missing. But I get the ones that made the 12. But with that, our top 12 Coen Brothers movies. At number 12, we've got The Hudsucker Proxy. At 11, we got The Tragedy of Macbeth. At 10, we got Barton Fink. At 9, we got Oh Brother Art Thou. At 8, we got A Serious Man. At 7, we got True Grit. At 6, we got Miller's Crossing. At 5, we got Raising Arizona. At number 4, we got The Big Lebowski. At number 3, we got Inside Llewyn Davis. At number 2, we got No Country for Old Men. And number 1, we've got Fargo.
I'm happy. I'm happy with that list.
But that is the end of ranking for another week. I didn't actually look at the poll earlier, but I'm going to quickly bring it up, just make sure nothing's changed on that. But in which it hasn't. So next week's episode of Rankin is going to be top 12 Chris Columbus movies, which should be interesting.
Yeah.
Talk about a very, very big tonal shift in the comments.
Has anybody seen that Thursday Murder Club yet? Oh God!
It doesn't come out till Thursday.
Thursday for you? God! Oh
Yeah.
God! That's right. It does come out this coming week. Yeah, I've already seen it. Oh God! Oh man.
It sounds like Dan wants to join a murder club after that movie.
Well, it's got so many great talents, and it just wasn't very good, in my opinion.
But anyway,
Sounds like oops.
but Steve, where can people find you online?
Oh, you can find me on the forum, all the platforms known as Twitter, X, whatever, at Mesa Media 1 or Steve Mesa. They can also find me on Instagram at smesa85. They can also find me on Facebook at Steve Mesa or Mesa Media. All Mesa Media can be found on via Mesa Media 1 on Facebook, X, and my YouTube page. So my YouTube page is pretty full of content between film and wrestling. So like you're gonna have a ball if you're a big wrestling nut or a big film nut. So I'm starting to put a lot of film stuff on there too. So check that out. And yeah, that's it. I would say probably this list was better this week than last week's list, according to replies from our show last week. But again, whole different story. But I'm sure everybody's satisfied with this list this week.
I mean, look, there's one of those when it comes to this, there's always going to be people that will disagree with the list.
This is a solid list. This is a solid list.
Yeah.
If people disagree, that's fine. But this is a really solid list, if you ask me.
Yeah.
We had a lot of last week.
But Dan, we can be on you online.
Yeah, you can find me underneath my name, Dan Skip Allen, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Letterboxd, X, Blue Sky, or any variation of DP Skip Allen or From the Fourth Row, or whatever. Also, I am a film critic in the Orlando/Tampa area, and my website is called FromTheFourthRow.com, where I'm the owner, editor-in-chief, and head film critic. I got 4 writers that write for me. We do all kinds of different stuff on their TV. We do retrospectives. We have a column. Now it's going to be a regular column of awards season by Kyle Flynn. So just go to FromTheFourthRow.com. You'll see any movie you want to see a review of. 9 out of 10 times it's on there. And starting tomorrow night, the very first episode of the new season, Real Consideration, our awards podcast with myself and Lewis. We just break down the Academy Awards, Golden Globes, SAGs, all that stuff. Occasionally we have guests on, like these guys right here. Wolfman has been on numerous times last season. Malcolm's been on. I'm going to be getting them guys to come on again this coming season. So, go on there. And I've also been on the Movie Hero Network a few times. I'm over on the Dill Pickle Network a few times on Picture This. If you haven't seen their show, Picture This, I highly recommend it. Malcolm's been on there a couple times. And I can assure you, he does love Shakespeare. So, yeah.
But Wolf, we can move on you online.
Yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel. Here's the thing, where we are going to be, we review a bunch of movies on there. I just put up my Honey Don't review. I didn't get a chance to see it yet, but I had someone review for the channel, highest to lowest. So that should be on there pretty soon. And then we're planning ahead for October, spooky season, and have 31 days of October where we're going to do 31 different subgenres and upload a review every day in October. So you guys can look forward to that. So that's something that we're really excited about. And then, just a lot of other great stuff next month, with the new PTA film coming out. We're going to be doing our own Paul Thomas Anderson ranking on the channel and everything. So that should be fun. And a few other really exciting videos. So go and subscribe.
And you can find me in Dave Productions hosting Rankum every week. Next week will be Top 12 Chris Columbus movies. I always post the polls for each topic on Fridays. So look out for them when I post them on Facebook. Actually, no, I think it's Thursdays when I post the polls. But let's look out. Join the Facebook page. You'll see the polls when they drop. You can also find me on my personal channel, Malcolm's Middle Media, where I host Spear from the Past. Yes, I know last week I accidentally edited on the Take Free channel instead, but you got a free show of Spear from the Past. The next paper we're going to be talking about is Survivor Series 99. But you can find me all over the place, and I pop up on the Movie Hero Network time to time. I know I'm definitely there for this Friday for the Family Movie Championship. But yeah, but until then, that is the end of ranking for this week. And we'll see you next time. Say this.
Small chance of success. What are we waiting for?